Hello, this is TSO.trade, and today I'm gonna show how to go over the settings on the newly released opening range pre-market breakout indicator, um, which it was just released, and I think it's pretty cool indicator. It shows some great backtesting configurations. Um, so let's just go ahead and go through all its settings one by one. Very first is visual trading stats table. This is a table which shows your current trade direction, the take profits you have taken if you did, if you have, oh my god, if you have Elliott wave oscillator confirmation turned on, it's gonna show it right here. It's gonna show its current color. Next is a custom trading date range, which you could use for a specific custom date range backtesting. Like if you want to check specifically last week result or last month, or if you use this indicator and you start trading live, just check here at the day you started, and then you can compare results on strategy tester versus the live results and adjust the properties of the strategy in terms of maybe you need add in a little slippage and there's some you forgot the commission or whatever. Just make sure it matches the contracts. If you trade indices or stocks, contracts is basically shares. Each share is a contract. Yeah, otherwise there's that's all you would use for. Otherwise you can just use the strategy tester. You can use the deep back testing, of course. So now the very first section is a trading schedule, and it is especially important for this indicator because it uses pre-market range. And let me actually turn everything off. Hold on. Okay, so I have basically turned everything to default, not to the default, basically to the most basic settings. By default, this indicator is configured for a Tesla 45-minute setup, which you saw it had pretty decent backtesting results. But I switched to the lower time frame, turned everything off in terms of signal cleanup and everything, so I could show everything one by one. So, where do we stop? Trading schedule. This indicator uses pre-market. As you can see, this is 6 a.m. until 8:30 a.m. Central Time, and the market opens at 9:30 Eastern Time, which is 1 hour ahead than Central Time. I live in the Central Time. And this indicator, it creates the pre-market range top bottom, which can either use high-low, which is the highest point where the price traded for both, or you can switch it here, level structure, to open close, and it's gonna use the actual candle bar body, not the actual. You can see now it's actually candle body. Let's see. So yeah, and as I mentioned, trading schedule is important because this indicator is specifically based off the pre-market range, so you need a schedule. And by default, it's set up to default U.S. session, which runs from 9:30 Eastern Time till 4 p.m. It is set to 3:45 or 15:45, 3:45 p.m. because the end of day feature, which basically closes the trade. If you still have a trade open at the end of the day, it is gonna close it, which you'll see a little later. I'll show it later. And the problem is, whenever you use different time frames, it needs to close the actual trade before or when the trading schedule time ends, because otherwise the indicator may open trade after your end of day cutoff hour afterwards, and then nothing's gonna close it, and it's gonna mess up everything. It's gonna be pretty messy, as the trade will run towards the next day, and that's not what you anticipate. So this is very important to make sure if this is if you will be using end of day close, make sure if it's 16, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time, this is 15:45, which is 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to skip the power hour, you're gonna do 1 hour before market close and hit 15 here. That would mean that your trading schedule time when you're gonna receive signals is gonna be during trading session until hour before the market closes. And if your trade is open by the right when the power hour starts, 1 hour before market close, it will close it through the engine for backtesting, and similar, it will alert you. So yeah, it's just a preference. Some people don't like trading or like to close their trades during power hour, because during power hour there may be sudden jumps, reversals, and you see the power hour and this indicator will be shown in this red background on the chart. This gray line is end of day turn, the end of day close. If we remove it, it should be gone. So that's basically, it shows you where your trade is gonna close, where it's gonna be closed, and there it is, it's gone. And the visual intraday schedule is that blue. It shows exactly when you will receive trading signals. You can of course hide it if you want. So let's just move to the next one, the trading trade signal configuration, which first of all, the opening range time period, which is currently set to US trading session time span, which is pre-market time at 7 a.m. till 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Next, I already showed you the level structure, the opening range level structure, either by the highest lowest point or the candle bar body. Now the breakout system, there's a simple and smart. The simple, this is what it is right now. As you can see, there is a candle. It breaks out of the range. Trade is open. There's your take profit levels. Right now it's 3, I believe. And there you go. For smart, there has to be a confirmation bounce and then a confirmation breakout. So this will not work. I mean, it doesn't mean it's better. There could be different results, and it really depends on which time frame you trade and what exactly you're trying to. Are you looking for a big move, or are you just, as you can see, there's initial, now the breakout, which was our trade, now it's just the initial breakout. And then you see it got invalidated because it broke out from the range. It never came back to bounce off and then close above this breakout. Let's see if I can find somewhere. Let's see, and this is actually not a good trade, but there is a breakout. You can see there is an initial breakout. The candle closes outside of the pre-market range. It comes back, and you can see this dotted arrow. It's not drawn on the chart separately. It's gonna be actually shown. It's drawn by the actual script. It's gonna show you every time where does it bounce, and it bounces, and then it closes lower than this, which is basically a confirmed breakout. Now, it did not work here, but this is the idea. and there's two different breakout bound settings. This one and cross close return, they're slightly different how they operate. I believe both should work here, but let's see. Yes, except that you see now breakout happens a bit earlier, as they have different algorithms on how they should how they work. Just try both. You'll see which, and it's all explained. By the way, everything is explained in very details in this. If you hover your mouse over these informational circles, it's gonna fully explain what is what is the exact difference, and so on. Similar like this. This is a visual. It may get a little dirty with all those initial breakout confirmation bonds. You can turn them off. The only thing it's going to show you is just the confirmation breakout. Especially if you will use lower time frames, it may get a little dirty. But let me switch to simple. So it's going to be more simple to show off the indicator. Let's continue. What's next? Okay, next is a take profit and stop loss configuration. Now, the SNR search left and SNR search right bars are support and resistance levels, which can be used by this indicator for take profit and stop loss. Let me just go briefly over this before we continue with all the settings here. There are 3 take profit systems. This indicator has pre-market range take profit is what you see here. That's pretty obvious. It uses this distance for the first take profit target, and it's going to be changed. It can be divided in several, so it is reduced because sometimes it may be big, especially if there will be bigger time frames. It's going to be divided by 2, for example. Now the first take profit is going to be half of it, somewhere around here. Okay, I'm going to have to get into this as well because you see this is a big candle, breakout candle, and technically it consumes take profit. And right now there's a setting. I'm gonna have to jump ahead sometimes because everything works here in connection with each other. You can see take profit targets consumed. It says skip trade. That's exactly what it says, skip trade. Now why this setting? Because sometimes if such big candle that it consumes take profit area, you maybe don't want to trade it. Maybe it's something's happening to the market, some just sudden spikes, you don't want to deal with it, you just skip. As you can see here, it's not a good skip as it break out and it went pretty far. So there is push TPs setting, which is gonna push away the take profit further away to ensure the trade is still open, and it uses average candle size, which should be here. Yeah, it uses average candle bar size to slightly move take profit further away, and so it moves here, and you can see each next take profit is 1/2 distance of the pre-market range. So yeah, let's just leave it to push TPs so we can continue. So this is pre-market range take profit system. So as it's named, yeah, it's measured this distance, and then it plots this distance towards the trade, and that distance is used for take profit calculation. Next one, you can see there is SNR current optimal and SNR historic optimal. This is support and resistance levels, which is completely different. They have nothing to do with the pre-market range. Well, they technically do because these are always also levels, support and resistance levels. But this is a completely different formula. It's completely separate. It works by separately in the script, and it can be used for take profit and for stop loss, which we'll get there shortly. And similar for stop loss, you can see there is a lot of different stop loss approaches. Similar, if pre-market SL is selected, you can see right here the stop loss is the opposite pre-market range. So if we break out this way, this is our stop loss, as this is probably one of the strongest levels at market open. So that's one of the way to use stop loss. Similar as take profit, support and resistance, which has its settings here, can be used to calculate stop loss, and it's gonna be using the depending on the setting. Right now it shows. Let me just show you, since we're already here. I'm gonna have to go back and forth. SNR static support resistance. This basically, it goes through all the support and resistance levels. It grabs the most recent one, and it seems like it grabbed in here. Let's see, and then it uses that level as the most recent. Or here, it uses the most recent. If it's a long trade, it's a support. And you can see sometimes, especially when there's this trend going up, it may be pretty far down, but that's a way of approach. And same way, there's an option dynamic where it will move along. Once it finds new levels, it will move that. If it finds new levels, in this case support, it will move it up. You can see it already moved it up. It's here, and it's gonna move up to whatever is best, most optimal level, closer to the actual current price. So reducing therefore the risk. And there is also trailing and two more specific settings I'll go over later. For now, let's just continue where we left off. So this basically is a calculation of these levels, like how far. Let's just do 2020, so it's most most generic, and we're gonna use, this is a custom resolution, which you can those levels can be used specifically on the custom resolution, that can be used for specific setups, for more for a bigger support resistance, more stronger support resistance. You could use, for example, 1 hour here. While you still want to trade on the lower time frame, like 5 minutes, you can select 15 minutes or 1 hour, and then these support and resistance levels, they will be much bigger, much stronger. So, or if you wanna, or this is good for scalping as well. If you would use, let me just show this real quick. And let me turn this on. You could turn them on and off. You'll see why, because it may get a little dirty. It's gonna be too much lines. So I switched to 1 minute time frame. I'm gonna switch to let's do current pre-market and stop loss dynamic. So basically right now I will use pre-market range only for trade open signal. Everything else is gonna be take profit and stop loss will be based off the support and resistance lines. Now, what I mean by the custom resolution, this is 1 minute time frame, for example, if you can see, there's a lot of these lines. This is the support and resistance calculated lines. Support yellow and resistance blue. If you switch this to, right now we're at 1 minute, let's switch this to 15 minute. Now you should see these lines become longer and less. Basically they become stronger because they're calculated over stronger levels. Now you can see it grabs the strongest levels, and while this is a bit too much for, since we're on 1 minute, let's switch to 5 minutes. This is just too far away right now, but I hope you get the idea. If you want stronger support and resistance, just raise the custom time frame for it, so you don't have to jump the time frames. This is the idea. So you can see now it's much stronger levels. And yes, the idea is so that you don't have to switch time frames back and forth. You can just skip it, switch it here, and you're gonna be at the same spot. Let me switch it back to automated, and you can see there's gonna be a lot of them appearing right now. Yeah, you can see that there's a lot of them, and let me just remove them so we don't see them because it may get dirty. Let me switch to 5 minutes so it's less noise on our chart. There's still quite a few noise, but that's okay. Let me find something, a spot better for further demonstration. Okay, so let's continue. So hopefully the concept of support and resistance additional feature is understandable. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, but there's one more thing. This is how far back it will search for these levels, support and resistance. I found 1,000 work very well. You can do 5,000 max, but it's gonna slow down the indicator, and I don't think there's really a need to do that. I think 1,000 works well, but you know, it can, if you just want previous like 30 candles, and that's really up to you. So this is pretty much also related to this whole support and resistance, especially if you're gonna use the SNR, support and resistance take profit system, specifically, and if you will use SNR statics stop loss system. I'll explain a little more later, I guess, some, as this works, but not for all stop loss systems. So let's just stick to support and resistance. So next setting is no SNR found behavior. Basically, that means, especially if it goes like here, it's not a good example because this has to be a trend. Let's do 15 minutes. A trend going up pretty steadily. Maybe here, maybe that will work. Let's see. Yes, that should work. As you can see, there has been a while until the price turned around and went back up, and this may not be enough candle bars to calculate these levels, and these levels are too far anyway. So with these settings, you can see, like here's a good example, or here, you can see no TP SL ATR, because hold on, let me switch it back first to skip trade. So if we skip trade, there's no take profit, and you don't know where do you want to take profit. There is no level, so it's just gonna skip the trade. If you still want to open, there's this option, open ATR trailing SL, which is exactly what it means. It's gonna open a trade and it will set automatically the stop loss system to ATR trailing. You don't have to change it here, it's gonna do it automatically. It's just this is where the settings are for the stop loss. Just keep that in mind. Right now it still opens and it's just gonna follow with the stop loss, so there is no specific take profit levels because there's no recent support and resistance, but you still want to open a trade and just follow it with trailing stop loss. So yes, so this is what this setting does. Since we're reviewed this part same way, especially when there are a lot of targets, if there's, for example, there was a take profit one target, but there's no more support and resistance targets found for further targets. So do you just close the trade? I decided to put a feature that it was gonna do a very similar thing. It's gonna automatically switch, automatically turn on trailing ATR stop loss, and basically, why I decided to do that, because basically you already taken profit, you already at profit, so it may continue the run, but you don't know until when. So there you go. That's basically let it run option, and it's completely automatic. And here it is. I found I decided to show it since we reviewing this whole idea. As you can see, the initial stop loss on this short Tesla trade goes per this resistance, and now there is a level for take profit 1, so it takes it, but then there is no more levels. So I'm sorry, actually there is a take profit 1, there is a take profit 2, and there's take profit 3. After take profit 3, there are no more levels. That's it. There's no support and resistance. So what does it do? Immediately at take profit 3, it switches. You see your stop loss was here. It switches to ATR, and now you just run the trade. And whenever it runs, it's a great result. This is end of day close. It closed in great profit, but if it would run even more, this is a really cool feature, how it will automatically switch on if there is no support and resistance found. So yeah, hopefully that fully covers this feature. So yeah, and now we're back to take profit system, which I already reviewed. Pre-market range, as you can remember, it uses pre-market range. Now current and historic optimal levels, it's pretty similar. You can read about the difference here. As you can see, there's a lot of text, but I'm not gonna go over it. It's tiny details. It's really for experimentation. As well, in 2 words, current, it uses most current levels. In historic, it uses historical levels it can find if they are better. If it thinks the script thinks it's better, it's going to use the historical and not the current level. Like in here, it would use maybe something like here or whatever. So let's just continue. The TP divider number, this is only if pre-market range TP is selected, because this is the divider of this distance. It doesn't do anything if it's support and resistance. Take profit number of targets. It's pretty straightforward. It's just how many take profits your trade will take. Basically, on how many take profit targets your trade will be divided up. As you know, it's best to partially take profit at certain levels. That usually shows the biggest profitable results. So Now this is yeah, I've already went over this. This is if it consumes, and here I can show it right here. With this distance, this candle bar would consume the first take profit, and with this turned on as skip trade, it will skip it. If it's gonna be push TPs, it will push away that take profit from here, ensuring you still, if you still want to trade. As you can see, it's a good idea here. It becomes a little small take profit, and I mean the idea is if you want to still go trade, you trade, but you have a big stop loss, and unless the trade visits all take profit targets, it may become this is just not a good risk reward ratio. So maybe you want to skip it. Next is a take profit offset. That's basically let's see what it's set to. Let's set it to 5. Set it to 5. So it's gonna move $5 every one of these. It will move $5. Did it? This is offset basically when the target is so close. I mean this is great to use for probably pre-market TP, or well, actually it's great used for everything, but you need to really experiment, as it basically moves the actual target slightly off. So sometimes the price may try to get the target, it comes really close, and then just turns around. This is the idea here. I mean, it works best for pivots and for example our round numbers indicator, but I decided to still include it for experimentation. So now let's continue to stop loss. I did review a few before. Pre-market range, it will use pre-market range. Dynamic, it will simply, in every trade, I mean on every closed candle bar, it will see if there is a better support or resistance depending on the direction of the trade, and if there is, it will move that stop loss to that level. Like in here, since it was a sudden drop, there's only one resistance. Literally, it never changed. This is not a resistance. This is just a drop, so it never moved here. But it would move in certain conditions where it would find something new. And here's decided to still find. Here's an example. This is a regional stop loss. And based on the script calculation, it decided that this is the next level, and it seems like it worked well. In my opinion, it's a good trade. As you can see, it used this, so it moved stop loss here. So if there would be further price move, you have a less risk with already some profit taken. Oops. We're not gonna review this today. We're just gonna show off the inputs. Now so HR trailing, this is the same, the one you saw where it would automatically switch for when there is no support and resistance levels. This is basically this is gonna be always HR right from the trade open until the trade close. It's going to be always HR, and this is the specific stop loss HR settings. You can see there's also custom resolution. This can really help, like if you want your HR to be further away, or if you want it to be very tight, you can play around. You can do here, but it's pretty limited. But with just increasing or decreasing the time frame, you can see you can make it much more tight, and you can make it tighter than the chart. Like the chart right now would be still not as tight, but you can make it extremely tight if you want. For example, for scalping, that would be a good idea. So it's gonna just follow as close as possible. And now you can see like this is really close. 4. This is the final stop loss option, which you can completely turn it off, which I don't suggest to do. Well, unless you use, well, technically if you use end of day close, you're still pretty fine, as you're still gonna close it at the end of the day. However, it may, I will not look for one, like if it's gonna go the other way and it's just gonna drop or something, or just jump, but against the trade, you may be in some heavy losses. Some of the configurations we found do show great results, but be very careful with this. So let me just turn it back on. Now this is very straightforward. You can also read about it on the website. You can see it in examples and TradingView description examples. This is basically signal cleanup. One by one, the first 3 is candle bar structure or color, or if it's a doji candle, if it's a doji, you know, which is uncertain candle, like something like this, where it has a small body, or like this, for example, it has smaller. Oh, there you go. This is perfect. A smaller. You have a smaller body, and you have sticks sticking out. This is usually uncertain. And if this is gonna be the actual signal, and it's gonna be this candle bar, it will skip it. It's not gonna show it on the chart. Otherwise it will be really dirty. It's just not gonna open. You're not gonna see anything on the chart. Same way, bar directional structure. This is, for example, let me see. For example, if it's like you see these hammer candle bars, but they are up. Like this hammer is a confirmed hammer, even though price is still going down. The color of the candle bar and the structure basically support each other. But if it would be yellow or bearish candle, but it would be an upper hammer like this, it would skip such signals, as that basically contradicts itself. Let me see if I can find a better example. Or like this, for example. This is a basically bullish candle, but it goes down. This is a bearish structure. It would skip the signal if the signal would appear on such candle bar. Further down, there's different oscillators. There's moving averages, ATR, divergence, volume, basically anything and everything. Now, Elliott wave oscillator is pretty powerful. You will not see it on the chart. You will see it here, but just for the visual reference, and it will only show color. And it has 2 approaches. There's a slope and color. VWAP, let me just turn it on so you can see it. It's basically going to be VWAP confirmation. If VWAP is for bullish, if the candle bar closes above VWAP, then it's a confirmed signal. If not, it's not. Similar way, moving average, ATR, RSI. Let's see, this one, I don't think this one draws anything on the chart, but they all do the same thing. As you can see, this is ATR, this is moving average. This one you will not see on the chart. Same way, there's volume. There's a volume strength, which basically you create a range of volume strength percentage based on the length, on how many candle bar volume is taken into the account, and you if signal if it's going to be strong or stronger than 150%, then it will support, then the signal will open. If it's not going to be strong enough or it's going to be weak, it will not open the trade. And you can in here you can see it was strong enough. It may show different candle bar colors, but in here that means, well, it's pretty obvious it's a huge candle, It should have a lot of volume. Same way, this is the volume which so I decided to fully show off what exactly it does. This is basically volume above average, and as you can see, if you add this technical volume, which is usually is included by default, if this candle bar close above this average, moving average, based on the length, then it will open a trade. If it's going to be below that average, which is technically lower than average volume during the day, like in here, it would not open. In here, it will open. So we can remove this. So this is pretty much it. Let me just go over a few other things. This is alert settings. You don't really have to change here anything, as this is already pretty straightforward. Now the alerts will be in JSON format. This is done specifically in things like leverage, and these labels you can modify whatever you want, how you want, as this can be used to automate this using these alerts using webhook. There are some systems you can use, and you can literally automate this whole setup. You just your TradingView will do an alert will send data through webhook. The data will be in JSON format, and it will open or close the trade on the other end, whatever you will be using. Please note, it may require advanced knowledge. It's not easy as 1, 2, 3. Like using this indicator is pretty easy in terms of trading. If you want to create an alert, you just right click, add alert, click find the indicator, select only alert functions, as you're gonna have 2 alerts otherwise for each thing, and every time you see this long open, long TP1, TP2, TP3, whatever, end of day close, and you just hit create, it will, every time it will happen, it will show in here an alert. And you can of course configure notifications and all the great stuff, show pop-up or email or webhook, play sound, send email to SMS. Like if you can use the best ways to use the app, TradingView app, it works pretty well in terms of alerts, and it shows them very well in terms of data. They show, even though it's JSON data, it's pretty organized. It's gonna show exactly what you need to see in the alert. Now, for finding a good configuration, the best way, our approach, how we do it, how we found is best, you first look for 1 year dip test. Do 1 year from today or from like recently. If it's good, then check 5 years. If both are reasonably good, and one year could be actually, it could be bad for starters, but then improve. Like this one would be okay for me for 1 year. Then check 5 years. Now that's important because these algorithms, we build them off patterns, and that's basically what it is. What is technical trading? What technical trading is? It's using the chart patterns to trade based on those patterns. So if 5 years will not show a good result, good profitable result, maybe at least like 500%, and depending on the actual coin or stock or forex, like you can see, this is not a good config. I would not trade this because on the long run, even though on the 1 year it showed what 200 or something percent profit, that shows this is a bad, you would lose obviously. So I would not trade this config. And now you can see it may take a lot of time searching for these configs. Or yeah, you see on, this is not even a year, this is This is about 6 months. On 6 months, it's very good, but it's not enough. Especially for 5-minute time frame, you need at least 5 years of data. Now, it may be time consuming because you need to experiment with all the settings, looking for the best configuration, and it does take time, especially if you don't know exactly whichever every of that thing of that feature is doing. So we are done with the video guide. If you have questions, ask them in the comments or reach out directly. We are TradingView. This is our username, DSO_trade. We'll be happy to help. Now, if you want the actual already pre-configured strategy configurations, go to our website, tso.trade. Go to trading indicators, opening range pre-market breakout. This is the indicator we right now went over. You can, of course, you can see all the description, almost everything. Should pretty much be everything. All the features of the indicator, how to create alerts, how to read alerts, how to read take profit percentage. I will not go over this, but just make sure you know how to use it. Yeah, but and there are depending on how you want to trade, intraday, basically you close the same day. Swing doesn't mean it's gonna take weeks. It means the indicator will include will not have end of day trade shut down or close. It may leave trades overnight. So for the ease of browsing, I separated these into 2 sections. There's one free right here for you to take a look at, and you can see 1 year. It shows 500 results. You can review the actual results. In 5 years, it shows this is very good. This is pretty amazing. I would certainly trade that. And there's a name which includes time frame, 45 minutes, and this is Tesla. It shows low risk. You click free. This is how configuration will look. Configuration, strategy configuration, which includes backtesting data. And this is, as you can see, this is every input setting for the indicator. You input all of that stuff in, and you get that backtest. Double check, make sure it's correct. It matches the backtest. Create an alert and go and trade. And you can see there's a few more. There's AMD, there's intraday, there's Apple, AMD, there's a Meta, which is Facebook, Microsoft, Netflix. So we'll provide a few more later, but there's some for starters. If you don't know how to trade at all, you're just starting, either go to click on hover mouse over info and click trading 101, or just go to tso.trade 101, and in here there's a nice this is a live trading examples, how you video. Some include here. Basically there's full information how to trade and how to read alerts. The video will show exactly live alerts and live opening trades. This is for Forex, this is for stocks and indexes, and this is just how we build algorithms, what's the whole idea behind it. If you have any questions, you can contact us here as well. Otherwise, this is it. I hope it was understandable. And if you have any questions, just let us know. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.